Hello, and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 98, and we peel back the layers on the whodunit murder mystery Glass Onion. I promise it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Welcome, gentlemen. Happy 2023. Brian, you were traveling. Savon, you didn't travel, right? You were hanging out in Detroit trying to survive the Arctic blast that came through everybody.
It was one of them days. It was a single degree. Like it was just 1 degree outside.
Just holding on to that
And
1
then-
degree.
yeah,
hanging on to that
Had
one
to
little
stay
degree.
positive.
And it was, I live by the river, so I had the wind chill. So on my weather app, it was saying, "Oh, minus 21 with the wind chill."
Yeah.
I was like, "This is awful." My door got frozen shut. I've never had that happen
What?
before. Dog,
It was frozen shut, like you were
Christmas
stuck,
Eve. Christmas Eve, I had to run to the store to get some milk because I knew I was cooking and
and you
my
couldn't.
milk went bad. And I was like,
You had to break the door.
Can't
Yeah.
have Christmas without
so,
milk.
Yeah, so I was making soup. So I'm
Milk
trying
and
to, go to my car. I'm bundled up. I'm pulling. I'm like, yo, and then it's snow on the ground, so you try not to slip.
Yeah, you
I'm
got
just
no
like,
traction.
Yo, no, none. So I'm like, yo, what's wrong with my door? I'm like hitting the unlock thing. I'm like, is this ice? And I had to really just dig in the ground and just really put my full body weight. If I would have did it too hard, I would have flew into the side of a car next to me. It was a mess. Would not
Wait, so
recommend.
Wait,
did
you
you
drove
get
in
a
this conditions, though?
portable?
What?
Did you get a portable blow dryer to solve your problem? How'd you get your door open?
I pulled on that mug. I pulled on it till it opened. Had to brute force that shit.
Brute strength.
Yeah, just had to, thank goodness for them gains. I was drinking my protein shakes. Had to put my ankles in it. That was it. Nah, awful. Wouldn't recommend.
Toph would have solved it for you, man. Earthbender, she would have got it for you.
Waterbender.
And Brian, you were halfway across the world.
You need a water bender, Wes. For ice, water bender.
It's
No, you
okay.
need he needed an earthbender to break that shit open, yeah. That's what I'm going with.
I had the exact opposite problem. It was way too hot where I was. I was on the island of Guam, far in the Pacific.
Territory.
U.S. territory
Colony.
feels, in terms of temperature wise, when the feels like says hell on earth. Right? It's like
There's no number.
Damn.
it's like
just
quadruple
Mephisto.
digits.
Yeah.
If you play Marvel Snap, it's like magic coming out and limboing that location. That's what it felt like. Like you get there's beaches and stuff, and it's supposed to be kind of islandy and you have this island vacation. No, you do not want to be out on the beach in that blazing hot, oppressive sun. You will lose all your skin. But other than that,
It
I
was
love
great.
using
Lovely
oppressive
time.
as an adjective for weather. I've heard people do that before. How does heat feel? Oppressive. It feels like there is a force bearing upon me, taking away what is mine, limiting everything about my life. This is not okay.
it's a
I
system
needed
that
to-
needs to be stopped.
Yeah, right? Like systemic heat, aka global warming, aka climate change needs to be stopped. Cancel it.
Does Guam celebrate Christmas in the same way that we do here in the mainland in the U.S.?
It's the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Of course.
Great.
I couldn't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
It's like, what?
No, I mean, yeah.
Not for
I mean,
you,
if you're-
Brian. I
if
thought
you're-
Brian was being sarcastic.
Yeah. No, Guam is a U.S. territory. It's just one of our colonies that we took over and never gave back to them. Good times.
Former Spanish colony.
Geopolitics.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk this episode about Glass Onion, a Netflix. No, I was gonna say a Netflix story, a Knives Out story. It's directed, written by Rian Johnson. I think he has a writing partner, but he's putting together a whodunit. It's a sequel in some sense to a Knives Out, which came out a couple of years ago. Actually, maybe it's been 3 or 4 years now since a Knives Out came out, which was also a murder mystery, featuring the stylings of Daniel Craig playing the character of Benoit Blanc, the world's greatest detective, or one of the world's greatest detectives. He even says he's not Batman, which is really funny because Batman is also supposed to be the greatest detective. in general, before we dive into this movie in particular, how do you feel about murder mysteries? Are you a fan, not a fan? Brian, where are you at on the murder mystery genre? Or even murder mystery dinners? Do you go to those? I've never been to one.
Such a broad open question to start us off with.
Yeah.
Actually, I have been to a murder mystery dinner when I was in
Was it
eighth
cool?
grade.
8th grade. Oh, okay.
We all had roles that we were given before we arrived, and we had to play those roles and sit at the dinner table and try to suss out clues. I loved it. That was amazing. Like, why don't we have these kind of dinner parties all the time?
They're a lot of work.
I have no idea how they set that up
either.
or who did, but it was very cool. Highly encourage you to go to one if you ever get invited, regardless of whether or not it's a real or fake murder. Because murder mysteries, who doesn't love them? It's a great genre. So for me, anything in the crime umbrella is already thumbs up.
Crime umbrella.
Yeah, the crime umbrella, the umbrella of crime.
The crime umbrella.
You got like true crime. You got like cops, dirty cops. You got like the mobsters and the gangsters and stuff. You got the
Law and Order
heist movies. Yeah, you got the Law and Order type stuff. All of it. This is a subgenre of that, which is the murder mystery. And you got the dinner party, the guests, the wacky guests, a dead body, who knows who died, and then you got the detective who's always a character figuring it out. I think it's a fun genre. I mean, like, what's not to love?
Savon?
It's all right.
Oh my God.
It's all right. Like, I don't dislike murder mysteries, but it'll never be my first go-through. Like when I was a kid, I used to try to read the Agatha Christie novels. They were good, but I just think I just don't think that was my go-to genre as a kid and as a young adult, and so I'm fairly neutral to them. But I will say, murder mysteries naturally have twists built in, and these types of twists do make the stories in books really fun to watch a second time. Like, I haven't watched, we're going to talk about Glass Onion. I haven't watched it a second time. I'm excited to watch it a second time. And I will
see
say
what
that
you can pick up now that
that
you
is
know.
Any movie where you can watch a second time and it'll be colored
Savon's
differently
all about
because
the
of a
replay
major
value.
event. I honestly am. Anything that you can look back at through like a different perspective or lens and
New
pick
Game
up
Plus.
on different details, I think that's very difficult and challenging to do, to make the same thing equally compelling in totally different contexts, including one where you know what's going to happen. I think that's hard. So
100%.
you don't got to be my genre for me not to respect what the people be doing.
What you need is like a Dungeons and Dragons Sherlock Holmes mashup.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
Like, could you imagine?
Funny, you put a mystery in Dungeons and Dragons, and I turn into Sherlock Holmes. Like, we use spells to look. Maybe it's a frame. No, honestly, oh god, this is ridiculous. But like, we've had D&D games where we had to like solve mysteries and figure things out, and then my characters would have all these non-combat spells to help, like, there's a zone of truth where people can't lie in this area, and it's like, who did this? But you gotta, finesse them. Okay, maybe I do like mysteries. You just gotta put them in D&D format for me.
I haven't really been into murder mysteries. I don't know if I could name any other movies that were murder mysteries besides Murder on the Orient Express. I think that's a movie. And then Knives Out, which I did see in theaters. Jen wanted to go see it. But I ended up with a huge migraine during the movie. I think we were sitting a little too close. And I felt pretty pukey. I think about halfway through. I actually had to step out of the movie for like 15 minutes. So I missed like a bunch of stuff that happened. I didn't even care. I felt so bad that day. So that may color my experience with murder mysteries. So I didn't go to theaters on this one. I watched it at home on Netflix. And I will say I liked it. I really did enjoy it. So this movie has a pretty high-powered cast, right? We get Leslie Odom, we get Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig, we get Edward Norton Jr. Is that his name? Edward Norton Jr.? Ed Norton?
Is he a junior?
Yeah, we could
Am I
make him a
thinking of the
junior.
football
I don't
player?
think he's actually a junior.
Okay,
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton.
There's also like a lot of fun
Kate
cameos.
Hudson.
I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah,
is in
he
there.
was.
Yeah,
Serena
Angela
Williams
Lansbury.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah,
makes a quick
yeah.
Our
appearance.
friend from Moon Knight.
Serena Williams.
Apparently he was
Serena
filming...
Williams. That's right.
Oh yeah. Apparently Ethan Hawke was filming Moon Knight at the same time and was close by, so he he came down to the set, did his little thing, and
Of
then went back.
course.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
That is what celebrities do.
Hey, hey, where you
I was
at?
in the
I'm
area.
in Greece. Yo, I'm in Greece. Man, come play by the set. Yo, you go through me? Yeah, I got you, bro.
I got a
wanna
part
link
for
up?
you.
You
Yeah.
want to link up? Do you need somebody to blast something in people's mouths? I'm your guy.
Whoa. Yikes.
That's what he did with the thing, the little disinfectant thing on the before they left for the island.
Yikes.
Come on, now. Batista's in it.
This is a
who-
G-rated podcast.
Batista's in it, which for the record,
Oh yeah, Batista.
I think he's gonna go down as like what? Like he's already proven he's probably what the best wrestler actor ever. Is he already?
Is he better than John Cena?
John Cena?
What's a
Has
serious
he
role
eclipsed
John
him?
Cena has done?
Well, I mean, these Dave Bautista
Okay,
roles
okay,
are
okay.
not serious.
Okay,
He
well,
is
he was
definitely
in Dune
comic
too.
relief.
Wasn't he in Dune?
Is he in Dune? I don't think he's in Dune. Is he?
Batista
I
got
don't
some
remember.
range. Batista got some range on the slip.
Maybe for a very short cameo.
what-
He's
We'll
in
unpack-
that zombie movie, that Zack Snyder zombie movie.
Oh, where was he?
Yeah.
Never mind. We'll
No,
unpack.
the
we'll
Las
unpack the
Vegas one.
Batista
Anyway.
stuff later.
Well, but yeah, he's actually hoping. Well, he got quoted recently in an interview saying he's glad that the Guardians movies are done because he wants to start really transitioning into movies where he can show more dramatic talents and really get into it. So he is interested in expanding beyond just being a comedic like kind of ham. Not that he's been able to do that yet, but and he still doesn't in this movie. He's kind of just a hilarious lug nut in this one too.
Yeah, he's in Dune. He was in Army of the Dead. I'm looking at some of the non-Guardian stuff and like Master Z. He's in one of the Ip Man movies. He's got a solid like. These aren't all great movies, but the dude can act. Like he's legit. He knows how to act. Even when he's playing some of these sillier roles, like they had serious moments in the movie where I'm like, oh, okay, Batista, you got some acting chops. All right, I rock with
Right.
it.
I
Better than
haven't
The
seen it.
Rock.
Anytime I've seen him, not so much in terms of the emotion, but I'm excited for him to get there. He wants to do it, so go explore, go get some acting classes and training, and he'll be good.
I'm very happy for him.
So, what was I gonna ask here? Oh yeah. So, who did you enjoy performance-wise the most? My answer is Janelle Monáe. That's all I got.
She's lovely. Like, there's nothing even more to say about her. She's
That's what
just
I'm saying.
like excellent. What a person. I want to be her friend. How do I do that?
I'm gonna just say it. Like I liked her acting, and this is really about the whole. What the hell's up with them accents, yo? Like them people. I know we just did a podcast talking about representation of culture and all this stuff, and I understand. Yo, they gotta.
I love
Monáe
Benoit Blanc's accent.
Janelle
by the
Monáe was
way.
great, and I had to look up my kid. She's from Kansas City, so maybe I don't know. Like I maybe want to give it a benefit of the doubt, but like them Southern accents be killing me. I be feeling myself just die on the inside every time these people start talking like Foghorn Leghorn, and I'm just like, yo, what the hell is going on right now?
That is actually the inspiration for Benoit Blanc.
Is it
You are
really?
lying.
I think it really is.
You lying.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh my god, I'm gonna punch
Well, I'll say.
something.
But he even makes that joke. Is like, I'm gonna use my Southern twang and just like
Yeah,
drag this thing on.
When
I
he
forget
said
what
that,
he
I was like,
says.
no, you do not get to embrace that as a bit at the end of the movie. No, you have to lead with that. This whole, for the record, I love him, but yeah, Janelle Monáe was lovely. I liked her in the movie.
All right,
Right.
Brian, you're going with Kate Hudson.
I mean, just because all the other ones were taken, so I'm going with Kate Hudson only because at that one point, that crucial moment in the movie, I think when Benoit Blanc is like revealing things, and Kate Hudson's like, "What is reality?"
That was a well-placed moment.
Oh, yeah.
That was pitch perfect comedy right there. She
Yeah.
just plays the vapid celebrity so well. It's like she knows that person. It's like she is one. Like, how does she do it?
That moment
yeah.
where she says she's gonna go swimming and then is like, I'm just gonna stay here because
she
she
sees
saw
whiskey.
whiskey in the pool. Oh my god, that part cracked me up too. I was like it was a perfect timing. They didn't milk it. It was just like a throwaway, and good moment from her on that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this movie, obviously quirky. They throw kind of cartoonish characters at us on purpose. And we don't hold it against them, although apparently Savon does. He was like a little bit distracted by it. This movie is
Damn right.
Yeah, this movie is kind of all over the place. There's all sorts of like intrigue going on. There's things that they throw in that like are stupid. There's things that they throw in that are like interesting. the solving the crime part, how they twist it, where and you kind of find out like how they solved it and why we were sort of misdirected. All of that was going on. What did you like? What did you not like? Savon, you seem the most skeptical about this movie. Why don't we start with you?
I mean, the good here's the good things I like. I like to talk about the good things I like about stuff. Right. First of all, the movie tonally didn't take itself too seriously.
No, yeah.
And I think that let me give the movie a lot of grace, because things that I might have held against it otherwise, it was clear tonally like, oh, this isn't meant like it's a murder mystery, but it's meant to be a very tongue-in-cheek, like serious but not super serious all the time.
Yeah.
It's almost like a parody of the genre in terms of just these bombastic characters who are just caricatures of themselves, right? And so that setting the tone made the movie work really, like, again, made me very just accepting. So clever, funny, very on the nose, just ways that they made fun of just different types of archetypes. Like all of that, really enjoyed. I think honestly, it was a good movie. It was just an overall good movie. I think the only thing I didn't like was that we talked, that accent is just gonna kill me for the rest of my life. Like that accent just lives rent free in my head, and I'm so conflicted because the accent drives me up the wall. But Daniel Craig, especially because I'm just used to seeing him as like the serious James Bond, just being this, this just ridiculous, eclectic, high key condescending, extremely intelligent man who just takes extended baths in his little crib with his booth thing, just living up the life, taking on mystery jobs. Like, it's so silly, but they lean into it. And like, this woman comes to his house with a box and is just like, yo, I need a case covering her face. They sit on his balcony while he sits in his very nice robe. Like, you saw that robe game? This dude had like
nice.
a
and
Savon robe.
He had a button-up shirt and a tie, and like a silk tie
like,
underneath.
Yeah, like he's just a parody of a parody of a parody, and he's just all in on it. So that was all just super entertaining to me. I think in hindsight, the only thing
his bathing suit too, right, was from like
oh my
god, when that man
with the chunky vertical stripes and an ascot.
No, when he came out with that fit, I was like, oh, okay, this is one of them kind of movies. Like, okay, like that was a key moment when I was like, it's one of them kind of movies.
Yeah.
Like, this man could have worn anything, and he chooses to wear this. And the way he's just bumbling about, acting silly, like he don't know what's going on. It's a really good bit. I think my only real critique with the movie is probably, and this has to happen with murder mysteries, this is my maybe dislike, is that to explain events is a lot of flashbacks, so you're replaying a lot of scenes you've already seen. I'm okay with that because the genre lends itself to having to do that, especially when it's from different perspectives. But I do feel like the back middle half of the movie was just a little bit too much recap for my taste. So like, Wes, I saw you were kind of mathing that in your head. Past the halfway point, not quite the finale, but at this point, the plot is in full force, and now they have to start explaining how blah, blah, blah happened. Like, that just went on a little bit longer than I would have liked. Of like, all right, can we get back to the present and like continue the main plot forward? Like, once we got back there, we went right into the finale, and I thought pacing-wise, that threw me for a loop a little bit.
There was a long overlap of timelines where we saw the same things but from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Are we not spoiling it here? We're not.
I don't know.
I think for a mystery thing, I want to try and avoid hard spoilers if I can, but I don't know, maybe people seen it already. I don't know. I feel like for mystery stuff, the twist is one of the best parts. And so,
all right.
But then don't we need to talk about the twist?
We can still talk pretty freely about the movie.
We need to talk about the twist? Like, what are we going to talk about if we're not going to talk about that?
Spoilers. This is a spoilers pod.
This is a spoiler pod. Get ready.
You heard enough. You heard enough about the non-spoiler.
We whetted your appetite.
Go see it. If you already seen it,
it's free. It's on Netflix. It's free. You don't even got to make time to go to the movie theater.
Wes, Netflix is not free.
It's free if you're a mooch like he is.
It's free if you pay for Netflix and got it.
It's free if you already have Netflix. How about that?
Well, that's not how free works, but yes, Wes. That's just fun. That was just funny. I'm sorry. Continue your thing. That was just funny to me.
All right, Brian, what do you think?
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Savon. Like, one of the biggest drawbacks of this genre is the peeking or revealing what's behind the curtain the whole time, and somebody's got to explain that. But I think what Rian Johnson does with the Knives Out series thus far is that, he's kind of toying with that expectation a little bit by changing it up. In the first Knives Out, Ana de Armas's thing was that, well, they kind of revealed the murder right off the bat. And so there's more of this cat and mouse game that's driving that movie. And then like it turns out not to be a murder, then it is a murder, then it's not a murder again. And so that's the fun in that one. In Glass Onion, it's this nice turn by having the surprise reveal of Janelle Monáe's character actually be dun 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 a twin sister. She's been a twin this whole time, and and Benoit Blanc has been in on it the whole time. And so seeing them do their song and dance and how they're able to create that reality for the other guests, I think there's a lot of fun in watching it play out that way. That it's not entirely just exposition of like, well, here's a flashback, and this is what you did, and this is what you did,
and her hard kombucha chugging.
I mean, and then I mean that's also part of the fun, right? It's like her character is not prepared to go deep undercover and play her sister.
Nope.
She kind of is thrown into this mess and is kind of goes off the rails here and there, is trying to make the most of things.
It's really funny. They do it really well.
It's
silly. It's silly. But just plausible enough to where you're like, the stakes feel real, but enough to be like, you and your hard kombucha, you don't drink. That's hard that is a hard tonal line to walk of taking the murder parts in the actual character beefs, because the beefs between characters are like, that was really what stood out to me, was that all these characters have these complex relationships, and I didn't, obviously murder mysteries, it's often about people's relationships because that talks about the motives of why this is happening in the first place. But they did that really, like, the characters were really well done considering that they're all basically just like stereotypes and just, they're not meant to be super deep. But like that scene when, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the actress's name, but she plays the Congresswoman.
Oh, Agatha
Harkness.
Yes. I didn't want to refer to her as Agatha. The actress.
Something Hahn, Catherine Hahn.
Thank you. But like when there's that scene where she's like breaking down, saying, like freaking out, like saying, "What do you want? What are the words we have to say to make this right?" Like she's really like, I'm like, yo, that was raw, and it's that much better when you're like, yo, that was just a twin in deep cover. But like, again, some of those scenes are that scene was good on its own just because of her emotion, but knowing that the other person is seeing it from a totally different thing because they think another person's talking to them, that takes some like, that is quality. That's quality writing. That's quality writing. It is hard to make a scene be good from different perspectives and do that throughout the film, or not like a one-off. They did it lots of times. That's hard, yo.
Yeah, to me, that's also one of the other things that makes Knives Out stand out from the other whodunit kind of mysteries that are out there, is that thematically, I do think Rian Johnson is, he's clearly trying to lampoon rich people and the circles that they run in and how they, they idolize themselves and, they try to.
And we idolize them.
Yeah, we idolize them, right? Like, and we kind of watch some of these entertainments to step into their lives and to see what that experience is like. They put themselves on this pedestal. And so he's clearly having a lot of fun just lampooning the heck out of all of them. But it works because, as you said, Savon, they do have that tinge of realness to them. Like Edward Norton as the tech mogul who basically feels like he can do anything he wants in the world.
We've met people like
whims.
him.
We know that guy. Like that is definitely that douchebag. He for sure is that guy. And the same is true for Agatha Harkness.
Wait, but he plays it.
Celebrity.
Ed Norton plays that character though with just enough like insecurity and pain and.
Yeah, so you have a little sympathy
like anger,
for him, a little bit.
Yeah, maybe not sympathy,
like
but you can see it's
him.
not. Yeah, and you can see that it's not quite as fulfilling as he makes it out to be, and he does a great job of not overselling that, but it's still there, so that his character isn't just like a complete douchebag. It's like, oh, you're a complete douchebag, but you're also like damaged.
He's not entirely flat.
So right. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think he is a complete d-bag and is absolute trash.
Oh, he totally is.
But what I liked about it was that they
but like it didn't fulfill him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess what I like more so with the character, what they did with him, what made him interesting to me, because I still loved his character and how he was portrayed, but that's not what I found appealing. what I liked about the character
You like the
was
sexy body.
no, what? Where did that even come from? No, it was because I think it was interesting that Edward Norton's character, we see this facade and how he puts on this front. But I think what I like is that, especially towards the finale, we see flashes of this ruthless monster that we only get to see his implied actions, not them actively happen. Like him lighting the thing, him basically just really towards the end, especially just swinging his big bag of money to basically just bully everybody to his whim, right? Like some of that, you don't see that until the end when he does start to clearly, his facade starts to break down. But I enjoyed that he is unapologetically a piece of trash, and I like characters who know that they're trash. Like when Benoit calls out him just blatantly gaslighting everybody and lying, saying, no, that's just what he said happened. What actually happened? Like he's the one person who's not blinded by his money and this dynamic and relationship to say, is that actually what happened, yo? It's like, wait, no, that's not what happened. Hey, yo, he put pineapple juice in this man's drink. And then even Benoit make it like, yo, he's not just. It's not because he's smart or deep or nothing. He's just a rich, dumb dude who bullied y'all with his money and did.
I love that he's a buffoon.
And did dumb stuff.
Yeah.
He's just like. That's what really made the movie stick with me, was that and made me excuse Benoit's accent, is that at the end he's just like disappointed with himself almost, of just I expected this was gonna be like, because in the beginning of the movie, like, I need a challenge, and he's like, this ain't a challenge, this is just a dumb rich dude who did the first dumb rich dude thing, and I thought it was so dumb that no one would do that, and it turns out, oh, he did do that. That's what we've been doing this whole 2.5 hours, man. ain't this something if I ever seen it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good that they did that way. I thought this movie, like, I think Savon, you put it good. It really walked a balance of not going overboard in any one direction, and it knew what it wanted to be, right? Like it had a clear tone, it had a clear like stance and theme, and everything felt cohesive together. I mean, this is the move, like these types of movies where it didn't get meddled with, right? Like the movie clearly knew what it wanted to be from beginning to end. It succeeded in pulling all of those things off without going too far over the cartoony cliff. It didn't try to play it overly serious. It just had a good amount of all those things where they were needed and when they were necessary. I don't know if that's good writing, good direction, good acting, maybe all of them, good editing, right? All of these things come together in a movie that was really well put together. I mean, it's not going to win. Yeah, it's not going to win any of its like Academy Awards probably, but still as a movie, great experience, great fun. Savon just put in the chat that like Benoit's campiness, his pure camp, is balanced by his competence, right? He is actually still good at solving murder mysteries. He's still good at picking up clues and being really observant. And he never lets that part go. And we don't let that part go, right? He notices all these things. It's fun to watch like breakdowns. I watched some breakdowns on YouTube. And he does throw in things ahead of time to let you know that they're coming. The painting is an abstract painting, but it's upside down. He does a paint, the shirtless picture of Edward Norton is actually Brad Pitt's body from Fight Club, just with his head on it.
Yeah. Oh, so it's like a callback to the OG movie.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then having, right, and that happens in that movie too, right? Like you get these like flashbacks to the character not being who we thought he was, from the get-go. So there's all that stuff going on. And Rian Johnson did a really good job, I thought, of making sure that everything, for the most part, was there from the get-go. So all the clues that you needed to solve it were mostly there. I think the only thing we didn't have was Helen and Andy being twins, and there was no way that we could have known that part of it, right? But all the other stuff was there.
Yeah, but even then, like, it explains a bunch of her actions at the place, because, like, even then, I guess my point, I'm agreeing with you in that it works, because that is a planted seed of, okay, why is this mysterious character who clearly is on bad terms with everybody acting in such a weird way? And little, there's probably, like, I think we got to rewatch the movie, but I am positive that if we rewatch the movie, there's a bunch of little hints dropped in that, oh, she actually is different from the original person. Like, I don't know, because I got to watch it again, but like, even my first watch through, I caught little nuggets of things that's like, oh, that's going to be important. Like, when your boy
Yeah.
say, "Oh, pineapple juice," I was like, "Oh, dietary restrictions." We talk about that at work on the regular. I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
that's
you picked up on that? I didn't. I just thought
instantly.
he didn't like it.
Nah, instantly. Because anytime we do work stuff and we order food, we're like, the first thing I'm asking people is, "Hey, is there anything that you can't eat?" Because we got vegetarians, all that's in between, right? So when I heard that, I'm like, "Oh, that's important." Like, the movie did a good job of information. Nothing was just pulled out of thin air without it being.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
It
wasn't like a magic trick where it was like, oh, suddenly it was this thing, and it was like, well, how was any supposed to know that? You never showed me that. You never did anything with that. Like, all of it sort of wrapped together and made sense once you put it together. Maybe you didn't have 100% of the information, but you had enough of it, like that it was there, especially on a second look. So
if you go in knowing it's
kudos
a
to him on
murder
that.
movie, you can watch it in a really fun way because I think they're thinking about it in hindsight. There's probably multiple ways to watch these kind of movies of we're going in not knowing it's a murder mystery at all, which is its own type of fun, and then knowing it's a murder mystery and knowing, oh, I as a viewer want to keep my eyes open for clues because I know.
Oh yeah,
in this
see
genre,
if I can figure it out while it's happening,
or see what I can piece together and figure out. Like that's fun.
Savon, I think you're the only person in the world that didn't know that this was a murder mystery because you refuse to watch trailers or like have any advanced information about a movie before you watch it.
Oh yeah, I watched this movie because y'all say we watching for the like, oh, we're doing it for the pod. All right, well that's why I got up early this morning. Like, oh, let me put this shit on.
He thought it was like a documentary about an onion made of glass.
Dude, when they said glass onion, I literally had no idea what to expect. I'm like, what's going on here? Okay,
I really like too the name of the glass onion. I think they made it work in a way that I wasn't expecting because I was like, why is this thing called glass onion? You know, I was like kind of interested in that. And not only was it like, oh, this is referenced in the movie, because it could have just been like, oh, that's like, you know, that's the name of the resort, or it could have been like, that's the thing. But not only was it like the bar where they were at, not only is it like the new name of the resort, but it's also, right, they start to use it as a very maybe obvious metaphor by the end, but like they use it as a metaphor for like an onion's layers are only interesting because you don't know what's in the middle, right? Like you have to peel them back. If it's made out of glass, who gives a shit? You don't have to peel the layers. You can just see it, right? Like it's all there laid out for you bare. And so there's this like that idea to it, right? And it's also fragile and like not worth.
It's not as deep as it looks.
Yeah, it's just made of glass. Like, you know, it's not crystal, it's not diamond, it's glass, right? So whatever. So I like that, like the name actually ends up having multiple meanings throughout both the movie, in the universe, and as a metaphor for like society and culture and things like that. It was cool. I don't know what it has to do with Knives Out, but still pretty cool.
What there's one word. It's okay, one of my favorite. I just gotta share this one bit that legit made me bust out laughing when they first go to the island. And what's our billionaire friend's name again?
Miles Braun.
Thank you. He is giving his little speech, and he uses the word, what is it? Imbreviate?
Oh yeah,
imbreviate. Oh yeah.
And I, as a viewer, was instantly like, that's not a damn word. I was just like, oh, he dumb. Like I already, just like when he was talking, I already was like, okay, he's clearly just a dummy with money. Maybe he's competent, but like, he's just saying platitudes and nonsense. But as a viewer, I don't know if that makes me like rude or uppity or something. But when that man said that, I was just like, that's not a word. So when your boy addressed it at the very end and was like, one thing that's been bothering me, it's not a word. I was like, thank you. I was cheering.
I thought it was a word only in the sense of like people who make up words.
That's what he said, though.
And it now like becomes a thing. Well, but I thought maybe like
part of it.
I thought maybe other people were using also this word, and like, but then he started using other words that were wrong, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay. And then they revealed it, and I was like, oh yeah, he did say that. And that
could you imagine someday like that word is just gonna be in the dictionary because a lot of people might have seen part of this movie but didn't make it all the way and just start using imbreviate. Yeah, I just want to, really let it imbreviate.
And wait, but he even said after, even if it was a word and meant what he wanted to mean, that would still be the wrong word contextually.
The other words for sure were used wrong, but I thought that word, because it was kind of made up.
No, he said
wasn't wrong.
Like, he said it's the kind of word that sounds like it's real that you can make up, but it's not. But even then, it's still wrong. So even if you give him the benefit of doubt, okay, let's say it's a word. Okay,
the other word is
the word. It's the wrong word. So like, what do we? And only other thing I want to say about Benoit, and I'll stop, is
Foghorn Leghorn.
throughout that movie, not even, no, this is a good thing. It's a great thing. It's probably my favorite thing. This man is so unintentionally condescending throughout the movie. It is hysterical, right? Like when he arrives and the guy's like, well, I got a box made of, very simple children's
Yeah.
puzzles and games. And I'm like, the first opening sequence is all these characters like on the phone line together, figuring this shit out, using their different, knowledges of different things. And he's just like, yeah, just some
Yo-Yo
children's
Ma
games.
has to help him.
Yeah. Oh, that was Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah.
Okay. that
He,
makes
he
sense.
was at the
fugue.
party, of course.
Yeah.
The pandemic party.
Yeah, and so, and same with like the celebrity girl recognizing, no, that's Silver, and he's just like, yeah, it was just some simple games. I was able to just knock it out the way real quick. But the way he ruins the murder mystery, there's just multiple times where he unintentionally talks down at tasks that are simple to him, but clearly very challenging to the other characters. And sometimes I think it's just for us, the audience, but there's other moments where the other characters are like, especially Braun is like visibly pissed off. I thought that was such a just good bit throughout the whole movie of just, he's just so prodigiously good that he's basically talking down to what everyone else considers hard. Like, that's great because he's so genuine.
That's a
Hate
Sherlock
that
Holmes
accent. Love that
trait.
character.
Now you know how I feel doing this podcast. with you guys.
Wait, what'd you say? What?
Now you know
What
how
a
I
jerk.
feel doing this podcast with
Oh
you
my
guys.
God.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said.
You didn't hear what I said, or you didn't hear what
No,
Brian
I didn't hear
said?
what you said.
Oh, no, I just said that's a very Sherlock Holmesian thing, right? To be like so advanced and like to pick it up that like you become kind of a dickhole to people around you who can't figure it out. The less.
Oh, I
advanced.
see. Brian is just burdened by his own genius.
Yeah, that's what Brian was saying.
Ah, yes, big brain Brian over there.
It's
Highbrow
lonely
Brian.
at the top.
Hey man,
That's all I gotta say.
no one said greatness would mean you have company.
All right, well, let's finish up this on the Glass Onion, or just Glass Onion. If you had to rate it for what it is, whatever context you want to use, grading scale you want to use, 0 to 10, 0 to 5, A, B, C, D, whatever, what are you going with this movie? I think for me, I'm probably going A minus. It's fun, it's great, I enjoyed it. The characters are cool. Yeah, like I said, it's not gonna be something I'm emotionally like tied to or invested in. It didn't change who I was as a human, or how I saw the world. But it was something that I'm really glad I watched it. I thought it was good. I kind of wasn't into it because I was like, murder mysteries or whatever. But I just thought the care and the like fun of the movie was worth seeing, and so A minus. Brian.
I would give this 7 knives out of 10.
All right.
I think like I'm happy.
Way to fit out the knives out. I like it. Had to.
I mean, assuming like a knife set has to have 10 in it or
I don't
something.
know.
I don't
8?
know.
I think it's 8.
I don't know knives.
I don't either.
But I think I think 7 out of 10 sounds right. Like this is a very enjoyable, entertaining movie. All the things that we've talked about stand true, the performances, just the madcap nature of it. And of course, the murder mystery itself is fun watching it unwind. But I do find that, compared to other whodunits, the actual explanation of what went down is still, to me, it still feels like it has like a few little holes. And for for murder mystery, I want those things to be airtight. So like just the fact that Leslie Odom's character is beholden to Miles Braun, like he works for the guy, but would he perjure himself for that reason? Like he's a top chemist at a top company in the world. I'm sure he doesn't need to do that to himself. And the same is true actually of all the characters. Like, do
Bad
they
people
really
get jobs after they do awful things when you're in like the business
Yeah,
world.
like he doesn't really like what exactly does Miles have over him? And let's say like, and to go to the point of perjury for all the characters too, right? Like, couldn't they have easily sided with Janelle Monáe's character and still got money from her because she owned half the company? Like it could have,
the
it
lawyers,
really gone
the lawyers
another
worked
way.
the contract. I'm like, okay, I guess that's a little hand wavy.
Yeah,
but...
so it was a little loose in that regard. And then also just the conclusion, as much as I enjoyed seeing the Mona Lisa get burned, like I kind of wish there was something more clever about how it was burned, right? It, you know, in the conclusion, it's basically just Janelle Monáe running at the failsafe button and hitting it, rather than
And it was a
something
gnome.
something more interesting or clever about it, right? Like I just wish it
CGI
had
robot battle.
that extra cherry on top that a murder mystery conclusion should have, in my opinion. So I still love the Knives Out series. I think it's definitely worth a watch. I mean, it's on Netflix, so why not?
It's free.
And I'm just glad that Knives Out as a whole has help greenlight more murder mysteries in Hollywood, right? Like this is kind of a dead genre before, but like now we got these, we got like the Clouseau mysteries, like Murder on the Orient Express and whatnot. There's another John Hamm movie that came out recently, Confess Fletch. There's another murder mystery. So like it's coming back into vogue, which I like, and I'm looking forward to the more really complicated mysteries to see on screen in the near future.
Oh, the Hulu series with Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Oh yeah, Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, yeah,
Rian
that's
Johnson also has another Peacock series that's coming out with Natasha Lyonne, which is like I think a murder of the week kind of show. Yeah, so it's a genre that's getting play now, which is good.
Savon? Final Savon rating.
If this, okay, so I got me my own rating system, you dig? If this, yeah, well, it's like you're drinking that water. If this rating system was an onion that I was cooking with,
oh my god,
a regular onion, I would chop the onion in half, take that first half, then I take the other half, chop that in half. So now I got like what 3/4 of an onion, right? Yeah, I got my 3/4 of an onion. I'm dicing that up, so that's at least a 75%, of onion out of onion right here. So, but then I put that in my dish. But then I'm like, ooh, I want a little bit of extra onion. So I take that last quarter and I cut a little thing off that, a little, 5-7%. Dice that up. That's a little extra bit of onion, so you got that little extra in your meal, so you don't run out of onion too quick.
Just use the whole damn onion already.
Then I'm gonna put the other onion on the side because I can put that on like a sandwich or something. So all that to say, I would give it 81% out of an onion. 81% of a full regular, let's say yellow onion.
Yellow onions are good. All right.
Yellow onions
That's
are great.
good.
Yeah, it was a good movie, but I think my critiques are similar with Brian. Like, obviously, Brian, I think some of the stuff that you say about plot being airtight, they want you to suspend your disbelief by the fast and loose tone they play. And I think the tone is meant to make you be a little bit more forgiving. I think at that point, it just depends for you as the individual. What is your bar of expectation for a murder mystery? Where do you give them leeway? Where do you not? That varies. Yeah, I think my only real critique was just a little bit too much background recap towards the end that made the movie lose a little bit of steam out of its sails. But other than that, great movie, entertaining. I don't usually see a lot of murder mysteries that have me deeply interested in all of the different characters. Usually they're throwaways who are getting killed off, right? This isn't one of those. This is only one person dies, and even then they do in hindsight get a lot of screen time in the flashbacks, which I think works out.
But well, two die. 2 people die.
Who else died on screen?
Well, Janelle Monáe dies.
Oh, you talking about Andy?
Yeah, Andy dies.
Oh yeah, but that's before the movie. So
and then Dave Bautista dies.
Yeah, I don't even count. I'm talking about just in terms of characters we never met her character. We only see her in flashbacks. But like Dave, in terms of like the people on the island, the contestants basically.
I see.
We'll only lose one, and they make them super interesting. I thought that was hard to do. So good movie making. Very clever. I'd watch more.
All right, Glass Onion. It's out on Netflix. Go see it if you want to.
Go ahead, see it.
It's fun.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Oh man.
It's free, so you might as well see it. According to Wesley.
Nah, that's a good old time. I'll have a good old time there now.
I had to check my privilege, I guess. Not everybody has Netflix, except everybody has Netflix. All right. The Last of Us is coming out on HBO Max. That's probably going to be the next thing we get to talk about. Bad Batch is out on Disney Plus. If you're interested in the Bad Batch, Brian is out, so I don't know if we're going to actually end up talking about
You guys
season
could
2.
talk about it.
We could talk about it. I think
turn off
they've
my
released
audio.
episode 3 or 4 at this point. So we'll see. You know, the Chosen Child. We'll see what Omega is up to, and the rest of the Bad Batch crew. I don't know what else is on our horizon. We got our 100th episode coming up, guys. That'll be something. We haven't even figured out what we're gonna do. We'll have to figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean that's hard.
Send
to
us
ask me.
suggestions.
Yeah, send us suggestions because I don't do stuff for my own birthday, let alone for this. Like, what y'all want me to do? Like, blow some candles
Send us
out?
suggestions. Send us cake.
Well,
send us
you
money.
haven't made 100 years old. Maybe when you reach 100 years old, you'll be willing to do something big.
God, I hope not. God, as in, like, I hope I
That's
don't make
too
it to
much-
100. I'm just like, oh
pain.
no.
Too
Nah,
much
I'm just like,
pain.
nah. Quality over quantity for this one. There's a sweet spot. 100 ain't it for me.
Oh,
For someone else, go for it.
I want to live to 100. I want to live till forever. I don't want to die.
That sounds
I'm
awful.
anti-death.
That sounds awful. I won't say that I'm anti-life, but like
At some point, it's time to go.
There's a sliding scale in there somewhere. This isn't this ain't an unconditional relationship. Like, hold on, we just quality. Come on, y'all. Like, what are we doing here?
At
Wanna
some
be having
point,
a
you've
good time.
overstayed your welcome. Is that
At
what
a
you're
certain
saying?
point,
I mean, you'll be alive, but not living.
yeah,
Gotcha.
just
You
like,
know,
yeah.
you're not hanging out having fun all the time.
Uh-huh.
You're just like changing your diapers.
I can't just be the banana in the back of somebody's fridge that they just didn't want to throw out. Like, hey, B, like, for the good of the rest of the, like, everything, yo, man. Circle of life. Let's get it moving.
Time to make banana bread. Let's make that happen.
Let's make some banana pancakes or something.
I love banana
Nice.
bread. So good. All right, y'all. Well, this has been fun. We'll see what's coming up in the next few episodes. We'll make sure that it's a good one. Tell your friends about our show and then respond or interact with us on @confidently_pod on Instagram. That'll be where you'll see us doing the most. It's been fun. Happy 2023, friends. Don't forget to sign your, sign and date everything with the new year. It's been hard. I keep putting 2022.
Thanks for that PSA, Wes.
Hey.
Thank you. We really needed that.
Don't smoke. It's bad for you. Don't use your gas stoves anymore. Apparently,
The
that's
more
bad too.
you know.
Yeah, don't smoke cigarettes.
It's bad. It's bad. The nicotine's bad. Harms
It
your
is.
lungs.
Savon's
caffeine,
booting
too
up the
caffeine.
PS5 as we wrap up.
You
This
already
podcast
know.
is over.
Hey, it's Saturday, baby. I've been working all week. I've been earning my money.
And it's a 3-day weekend. Let's go.
Wait, what?
Martin
Oh,
Luther
that's
King
right. That's right. I have to for my job. We do a day of service, so I'm actually going
Oh,
to be
okay,
doing community service on my MLK Day.
Day. That's still
which-
fun.
No,
still
it's
worth it.
fun. I have like a joke I will make about that, but I won't make it on the air. So
All right.
I'll wait till we're off.
Then I don't have to edit it out. Thanks,
Yeah.
Savon. You're the best.
All
All right, later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Incredible!